The unruly mobs just took over Los Angeles, as it literally looks like it's been conquered. As the ICE protests were essentially encouraged by the mayor, more of these foreign forces started to show up in the streets, destroying parts of their own city. As nothing stops federal law enforcement faster than lightly vandalizing your own streets. But finally, LAPD marched in to try to control things. When the protesters tried to breach the ICE facility, with people in black bloc attacking the building. Even getting inside, tagging profanity on the vehicles they believed to belong to the feds. As street journalist Anthony Cabasa shows us, they're genuinely attacking them, crawling up and trying to sneak inside. But at least they finally made some heavy-handed arrests. Using a barrage of pepper balls to back off the mobs. But unfortunately, Cabasa also got hit in the eye. So major props to Anthony Cabasa for going out there and documenting the riots, as even after he got hit, he still went out there again, so make sure you follow him on X. As mainstream news outlets like Fox got chased off. Where the rioters even destroyed their news vehicle.
Right at the beginning, before we knew it was going to escalate to the situation that it got to. This is a brand new news truck that we just got. Looks like the tires were slashed. They busted into the windows. We'll see. Our personal bags were in the car. They stole all the stuff that was inside.
And even into the evening, journalist Aldo Buttazzoni also got chased off by the mob. It's unfortunate it happened in front of the police, but sadly, they also had their hands full.
Step away from the vehicle! Step away!
Where the protesters were using a strobe light to blind the coppers to no arrests. So obviously, they escalated to tagging their MRAPs.
Oh, okay.
Throwing rocks at their vehicles with zero worry about repercussions. And even a defenseless Waymo, those automated taxis, got destroyed. And again, nothing stops the feds from enforcing the law than vandalizing a taxi that serves your community. But the local police seemed pretty defenseless, as the mayor had openly spoke out against law enforcement.
Go ahead, dude. Raise that gun to me again.
Let's move.
You better chill the out, Al. Chill the out. Chill the out. Chill the out.
And these guys are crazy, out there doxing that police officer, as there's no other reason to post this information next to that video other than to try to intimidate them away from actually enforcing the law. So no wonder well into the next day, the Los Angeles streets still weren't under control, filled with protesters flying flags from all the countries they demand they are not sent to, or even the Fed vehicles are under attack. Actually shattering the windshield and injuring the agent, as this guy in a yellow dirt bike helmet was throwing rocks at not only the marked patrol cars, but any random car driving by. So now the FBI's deputy director is looking for that specific guy, as these so-called protesters are under the assumption that in LA, local DAs don't really follow through with prosecution, but federal agencies under the Trump administration are going to react very differently, as these idiots started trashing their own communities again, making these makeshift barricades out of shopping carts. And as Kabasa shows us, somebody mysteriously placed this fresh pallet of cinder blocks nearby. They were, of course, utilized in their garbage barricade made by fatherless behavior, which was easily discarded by the local sheriffs. But in multiple parts of the city, the rioters started fires, even burning vehicles while flying flags for Mexico.
There it is. Mexican flag can,
As honestly, I see this as a foreign invasion at this point. Military-age males flying another country's flag, fighting with our federal agents. So it's good to see the feds finally fight back. And then some idiot goes crying online how her kid was affected in the riots. Out of all the people I want arrested, I think the so-called mother deserves it the most, as you should know better than to bring your kid to this very volatile situation, unless, at best, you were using them as a prop for your protest, and at worst, you were using them as a shield from repercussions, or at the very worst, you knew this would happen and are just looking for a taxpayer-funded lawsuit. As this wasn't a protest, this was a riot, and Border Patrol wasn't playing games. Or even in the morning they made it clear, anybody who impedes our efforts is going to be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And they were serious, arresting over a dozen agitators before the sun went down, with Viva Frey pointing out this is actually a rebellion or even insurrection. You would think the rioters would know the difference between yelling at local coppers that answer to your liberal mayor and the federal agents that got the green light from President Trump. But if these activists can't tell the difference between ICE and the DEA, I somehow doubt they know the justice system. So now California's Governor Newsom says this is the feds' fault, sowing chaos and escalating, and that is not the way a civilized country behaves. And he's correct. California looks nothing like civilization right now. So good thing they're deploying the National Guard.
So guess what? We're already ahead of the game. We're already mobilizing. We're going to bring National Guard in tonight. We're going to continue doing our job.
With President Trump stating, if Governor Newsom and Mayor Bass can't do their job, and we know they can't, that he'll step in and solve the issue the way it should be solved, and then promptly went out to go watch the UFC fight. With the governor crying about the 2,000 incoming soldiers, saying it will only escalate tensions. It's sad to see my taxes going to a guy that's essentially the mouthpiece for the rioters destroying the city that I escaped. Then again, my tax dollars will go to repairing, so let me know what state I should move to in the comments. As in California, they arrested the president of the largest labor union at the riots. And in case you missed yesterday's video, there's a disgusting connection between the Democrats and cheap labor.
Why are you shipping these immigrants up north? We need them to pick the crops down here.
What immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
We done picking cotton.
If we don't have avenues for people to come here legally to work or to build a home here, I'm going to be really crude right now. We're not going to have anybody around to wipe our asses because we don't have enough people.
They're so used to being openly bigoted within the party, they forget how horrendous this sounds. So now that we understand why liberal leadership wants them around, why exactly do regular citizens support this so much?
So there's unrest. Let's start with there's protest, lawful protest, which is allowed in this country. There is some unrest.
Lawful protests, but some unrest is kinda catchier than fiery but mostly peaceful, but they've had 4 years to protect the lie, using anything to get you to believe the police are randomly snatching up families at work and not who they're actually arresting, like guys wanted for grape, known gang members, guys that attack their wives, and traffickers. So these idiots in the street think they're being freedom fighters when they're actually just protecting the worst criminals in their community, all in the name of providing cheap labor and even cheaper votes for the Democrats, while literally bankrupting the social services they likely rely on. It doesn't make sense, but that's what happens when you have more emotions than information. Don't doom scroll on social media all day when you have my concise, light-hearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, so subscribe to Decoy Voice, as we're undoubtedly going to cover the upcoming riots.